We begin with breaking news from Pakistan. Officials say 2 bomb attacks have killed more than 20 people a day before parliamentary elections. Dozens of people are reported injured. Both blasts happened outside political offices in the southwestern province of Balochistan. The first hit the district of Pishin. The second went off in the city of Kila Saifullah. They struck amid heightened security across the country. Pakistan has seen a surge in violence leading up to the vote. Let's get more from DW's Shamil Shams joining me from Karachi. Shamil, can you tell us more about what we know at this point?
Well, DW reporters here in Pakistan have told me that at least 26 people have been killed and dozens injured in these 2 attacks in Balochistan, which borders Afghanistan and Iran. And authorities have taken the wounded to the hospitals. No group has immediately claimed responsibility for the attacks, but Balochistan is a province which is known for militant violence, separatist insurgency. There are many militias in this area. There are separatists who want to break away from Pakistan, and the Pakistani military has been operating in this volatile province for a very long time. So this is quite tragic, but maybe not that unexpected.
And we've now seen 3 blasts in just this week, 2 of them, of course, coming a day before Pakistanis head to the polls tomorrow. How will these security concerns impact the elections, do you think?
I think it will have a twofold impact on tomorrow's elections, general elections. One is that the security situation in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, which borders Afghanistan, will be a problem for the next administration and could possibly be tackled by the military operations. This has happened in the past in Pakistan, but that's a long-term thing which we are talking about. The short-term thing would be that this will kind of deter people, dissuade them from going to the polling stations tomorrow, especially in the Balochistan province and maybe in other parts as well. And they will not cast their ballots. And if this happens, it will be very unfortunate. This election, this general election, has been the dullest, analysts have said, in Pakistan's history. People are not very enthusiastic about it. They don't want to cast votes. But these blasts will have a bigger impact on them, and people will be worried about their safety, that should we go to the polling stations, these kind of attacks can happen again. Although the government has promised that they will secure the polling stations and the voters, but the situation at the moment is very serious.
Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed there. That is DW's Shamil Shams from Karachi.
Thanks very much for having me.
So as we've heard, the blasts took place just hours before tens of millions of voters head to the polls across Pakistan. Independent monitors and human rights groups have been questioning the contest's integrity and credibility. Among the biggest issues are alleged suppression of former Prime Minister Imran Khan's political party. He has already been convicted and jailed on corruption charges, but Khan and many of his fellow PTI party members say they're the victims of a military-led crackdown, as DW's Binish Javed now reports.
It's one of the final days of campaigning in the city of Rawalpindi for Simapia Tahir. She's running for a seat in parliament, but is facing an uphill battle. She's a member of the PTI, the party led by former Prime Minister Imran Khan, but he's currently in jail and is barred from contesting this election. The party has been effectively removed from the ballot papers, and its members have been forced to run as independents.
We are facing crackdown. Every day our people are caught and sent to jail. As we are campaigning here, we will be followed by the police.
The PTI is one of Pakistan's most popular parties. and with Khan, one of its most visible. Emotions are running high at the homes of his supporters. They say the charges that got him jailed were politically motivated and that there's a campaign against them.
They are not allowing us.
We are not allowed to display posters and banners. All other parties are allowed to do that. But PTI is not allowed. When we display banners at night, in the morning they are taken away.
Unknown people.
That's why I had to do door-to-door campaign. This is done by unknown people because I think they are scared of PTI and they don't want PTI to win at any cost.
Khan says the military is behind the crackdown, but the authorities deny they are targeting Khan's party.
This is not the first time Pakistan's all-powerful military has been accused of election meddling. Khan himself is believed to have profited from its support when he became Prime Minister in 2018. But now the tables have turned.
Last election, it was Khan's opponent, Nawaz Sharif, who found himself in jail. But now, with Khan out of favor, the military establishment is believed to be backing Sharif. Despite the claims of electoral interference, many still believe in the power of their vote.
Through voting, we can make a difference. Voting is the last tool we have to get rid of the oppression and injustice that we are facing.
I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that our votes will make a difference and there would be transparency in the voting process.
Pakistan has been in political crisis for the past 2 years. Many are pinning their hopes on these elections as a way out of the current political stalemate.
For more, let's cross over to Islamabad and bring in DW reporter Beenish Javid, who filed that report. Beenish, we heard concerns about the integrity of this vote. Will these elections in Pakistan be free and fair?
Claire, I do see a lot of disappointment, especially if you speak to supporters of Imran Khan. You would see that they say that their party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, was not given a level playing field to campaign in this election. They say that their leader is in jail, and they claim that he's in jail on politically motivated cases. They complain of a harassment against their political workers, of not being allowed to conduct public rallies. And it's not only PTI supporters. Human rights groups have expressed concerns over fairness of election. Even UN has expressed concerns over basically a pattern of arrests and of prolonged detentions of PTI leaders. So all of this does put in question the credibility of these elections.
And how will all this affect Imran Khan's party in these elections? Do you think it will affect voter turnout?
So I feel like party has already been dented. Their leader is in jail. Their other senior leaders are also in jail. The party, their electoral symbol was taken away, which means that, as I've mentioned in my report, the PTI candidates are basically running as independents, though they are backed by PTI. So they already had huge setbacks before these elections. But having said that, I would say that when you speak to candidates of PTI, they are actively participating in the election process. They are urging their voters that they must come out of their homes on the polling day. They must go to polling stations and vote. And they're actively participating in. They criticize the state, and I would say that the state, Pakistani military, has denied all of these allegations that are laid out by PTI. So they publicly criticize, but they're also very actively participating in the election process, which kind of gives some optimism, gives some optimism in the whole election process.
And Beenish, what about former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif? He's seeking a return to office. Could you please tell us more about him and his chances here?
Yes, so Nawaz Sharif, he is Pakistan's former three-time prime minister. He has been in Pakistani politics for decades. And just before elections, he returned to Pakistan. He was out of Pakistan on self-imposed exile. All of the cases against him were disqualified. And therefore, when you speak to journalists in Pakistan and even people on the streets, there is this feeling that this time Pakistan's military establishment is backing Nawaz Sharif. And Nawaz Sharif himself had a difficult history with Pakistan's military establishment. But this is Pakistani politics. Even Imran Khan, as I've mentioned in my report, he is accused of making deals with the military when he came to power in 2018. But this time, all eyes are on Nawaz Sharif, and he seems to be one of the most favorite candidates.
Well, thank you so much for your reporting. That's Arvina Shafid reporting from Islamabad. And I'd like to dive into this topic with Aisha Siddiqa, Senior Fellow at the Department of War Studies at King's College London. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us on DW. We have Pakistan's most popular politician in jail, and now these latest attacks on election offices reinforcing concerns about security. Can these elections, in your view, be free and fair?
See, to start with, there is no doubt in most people's mind that this is a selection, not an election. There is a lot of doubt about fairness of the elections. To give you a very quick example, I don't think that the government is even keen to have a huge turnout, and they're pushing the possibility of a huge turnout. They want to ensure a low turnout. So what they've done in several cases, randomly, people's from the same household, their votes have been thrown in different directions in different polling stations, which will make it impossible for people from one household, for example, to be able to, for all of them, to cast their vote. So the ultimate objective is low turnout. And there's also almost an expectation that a lot of these people are going to vote for Imran Khan. There's a question mark: will they not? But the government is not keen. The establishment is not keen to test that theory that if people are going to vote for Imran or not. But clearly, the PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan's party, is being pushed. It has been denied its election symbol. The two main contestants in these elections are either the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz or the Pakistan People's Party, and then the other regional parties. The violence that has happened is both connected with elections, but also independent of it. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has been waging a war against Pakistan for quite some time now. So that goes on irrespective of elections, if elections happen or not.
Now, as you've mentioned, Imran Khan and his party are banned from running, and yet we've seen many of his members running as independents. I'm curious what you think they're hoping to achieve by doing so.
See, what they've done, and this is sources from within Imran Khan's party, that they have made these candidates take oath on the holy book, on the Quran, saying that they will remain faithful to the party. Now, that remains to be seen if they will. But it also means that whatever government is formed after elections, even if it's Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, these independents, if they get elected, then they have a role to play in, and actually they will be strengthening in some respects the establishment, which will then use these independent members to negotiate with whoever has the capacity to form the government. So these will be the outliers of politics influencing the core of politics. That will be their role. The other
Now,
thing
if
is,
I may,
they'll
you've mentioned,
be-
sorry, just we don't have so much time. Sorry to interrupt you there. I'm curious about Nawaz Sharif, who you've mentioned. He's, of course, seeking a return to office. And I'm wondering what you think we would see from him and what his chances are in these elections.
Well, if his party, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, is going to come, then definitely he will be. I see him as Pakistan's next prime minister. How long does he survive? What will be the nature of his relations? I think he will be initially in the first couple of years will be more subdued, but more importantly, I think the most important issue before him will be the economy. Then this is also the reason why the military has encouraged him to return to the country to kind of make the economy work. That's his only target. That's all.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise. That is Aisha Siddiqa at King's College London. We really appreciate your time.